Hey everyone, I'm Rachel, and today we are going to be talking about the biggest lie that so many celebrities believe in. What is this lie that so many celebrities believe in? And I was thinking about it, like, what is this lie? Because it's so pervasive in our culture. You've heard songs, I know you've seen movies, you see stuff online about people selling themselves to the devil. He acts like he's going to show you these like big truths that have been previously hidden from you so that you can like live your fullest life. That is the lie that so many celebrities believe in, and they are pretty much just like biding their time until like rubber hits the road. Like nothing lasts forever, and whatever they've sold themselves out for is not going to be worth the price that they paid. And I was just thinking, like, so where did this lie come from? Where's the first place that we see this lie? Because I see so many celebrities that have bought into it. And when I think about it, like the most recent example I can think of is The Weeknd. Now, if you are a reader, Vigilant Citizen, oh my gosh, like his stuff is so good. It's so well thought out. It's very well executed. I'm not going to say the same thing about all the mess in their forums, but on Vigilant Citizen, he like walks you through The Weeknd's videos showing this progression of like The Weeknd was a nobody and nobody's listening to him. And then, he makes this deal with the devil and he's out, burying his old self. He's a new person and he has women and money and fame. So The Weeknd's not the only person that's done this. There's so many stories throughout history where they talk about this. Beyonce has her video with Sasha Fierce. They have Lady Gaga. You have Rihanna with her song Umbrella. If you are not well versed in the occult, if you're not familiar with the occult, Rihanna's Umbrella video is going straight over your head because they're all selling themselves out for money and fame and power. Where does this lie first come from? And we're going to have to go all the way back to Genesis 3 because that is exactly where we are in our whole Genesis series. So there's this serpent in the Garden of Eden, and that's where Adam and Eve, after, they've been created, that's where they live. And God is there too. So there are two trees in the Garden of Eden. There's the tree of life, and then there's the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And God told Adam, before Eve was even created, if you eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, you'll die. So don't eat from it. And it's not just you'll have a physical death, it's that you'll be cut off from God, like your relationship is dead. You won't have that closeness with God anymore. You're spiritually dead. If you eat from the tree of life, you have decided that you are going to have a relationship with God, live forever, do your thing. Everything's great. You're never going to have to know pain and sorrow and all of the horrible things that have ever gone in the world. Adam goes and tells Eve what God told him, but he elaborates on it. He adds a fence rule. And you'll see these fence rules a lot, especially in Judaism right now. You'll have the Word of God, but then you'll have a lot of man-made traditions, whether it's like the Talmud or the Mishnah, whatever. For example, a fence rule would be God said, don't cook a calf in its own mother's milk. So you don't have a baby cow cooked in its own mother's milk. Now, a fence rule would be like in Judaism, you'll have some Jews that will say, oh, you can't mix any sort of meats, any sort of fleshy animal with dairy. So they'll say, you can't even mix fish and dairy. So you can't have like a salmon chowder. Even though fish aren't mammals, there's no such thing as like a salmon milk that you could cook a calf in its mother's milk. Like, they're not even the same type of animal. That's not what God was saying. Like, this is a man made rule. Jews create these fence laws to try to keep people away from breaking whatever God commanded. So if God said, don't do this, they'll create extra layers of rules to keep you farther away from breaking God's rule. Now, in theory, it sounds good. It sounds like, oh, well, that makes sense. Like, that's very helpful. And Adam did the same thing, but don't add to what God said. Like, if God said one thing, don't say, and do all these other things as well. That's not your place. You're not God. And thanks to fence rules, everything is a mess. Now, the serpent is talking to Eve. Mind you, Adam is with her at the time. And he's like, did God really say that if you eat from this tree, you're going to die? And she's like, yeah, we're not even supposed to even touch it. Like, it'll kill you. The serpent knows that Adam, told a white lie. Well-meaning, still a lie. And does Adam pipe up real quick and say, wait, hold on, Eve, like, no, we can touch it, but we're not supposed to eat of it? Nope. Satan's over here calling Adam's bluff, and Adam's just, he's lean back, like, I'm not going to say anything because I don't want it to look bad on me. I don't want to admit that, I kind of fudge things a little bit. Adam is so annoying. He just really gets on my nerves here because he's like so many people. Like, they don't want to admit when they've messed up at critical times. Like, this would be the time, Adam, for you to jump in and be like, you know what? No, we cannot eat of this fruit. If you want these things, listen to me. I'll show you how you can be like God. Now remember, that was Lucifer's first sin. Like, he wanted God's position. He wanted to be like God. He wanted to be above God. So he knows what the punishment is for going against God. He knows. And he is toe-to-toe with God. And we are God's creation. And we are made in God's image. So Satan, he hates God and he hates us because God created all of this stuff for us. He created the whole universe so that we could have a relationship with God. So Satan, he wanted to be above God. He knows what the punishment is for trying to take over God's position, but he's over here, whispering over to Eve like, oh, the man's trying to keep you down. The man is trying to, make sure that you never rise above. There's a glass ceiling here. What happens? Eve, she wants to be like God. Like, can you believe that these men in her life are trying to keep her down? Eve could be so smart. Eve could be, on God's level. But, he's just trying to restrict her. He's trying to hold her back. Satan has been saying the same lie for eternity. He told her, if you even touch it, you're going to die. So not only does she touch it, she eats it, and she's not physically dead. So she's like, Adam, see, like, what you told me is not true. So it's making Adam look bad, but it's also making God look like a liar when God is not a liar. God warned Adam, and just like we talked about in the last video, where what you do can allow Satan to have a stronghold in your life. You can open doors for Satan. This was the door that Adam opened for Satan to give Satan a legal right into his life and all of his descendants' lives right here. So here's what happened. Adam ate the fruit. He knew better. He knew better all along, and he didn't say anything. So, immediately, eyes opened. They're going to be privy to all of the horrible things that are going to go on in the world. Death, murder, sexual abuse, famine, everything horrible is about to come into being because Adam opened that door. He wanted to know what evil was. Here's what evil is. And he chose it. It wasn't forced upon him. He chose it. He knew better. He still chose it. Is it God's fault? No, because Adam had a choice, just like you have a choice. This is going to be a 2-part series because I'm going to just have to stop the story right there because there's just so much to unpack in it. Anytime that you have people believing that they are oppressed, that they're put down, that God doesn't have the best intentions for them, and they decide, you know what, I'm going to listen to Satan, you're going to get a whole lot of garbage in your life. Now, in the interim, you might get some perks, some benefits, but in the long run, like the price you pay is just not going to be worth it. And the price Adam paid for, not admitting that he kind of, told a white lie or fibbed, pretty much cost humanity their entire relationship with God. Not pretty much, it did. And Adam and Eve were cut off from God. You are cut off from God because of what they did. They're your ancestors. You're their descendant. So, because they were cut off, you're cut off. I see so many people thinking that if they get into the occult or, if they decide to sell themselves out to Satan, that things are going to look up for them. And this reminds me of this one kid that I know. And when we were in 6th grade together, he was talking to me about how he wanted to get into Satanism because it was cool and he could, get powers or, do whatever. And you're in 6th grade, you're 12 years old, 11, 12 years old, and he was serious about it. So over the summer, sorry, I'm getting emotional, for whatever reason, this story has stuck with me my whole life. But over the summer between 6th and 7th grade, he was really gung-ho about, getting into Satanism. He got in a car accident, and the car accident was so bad that he was decapitated. And it's really upsetting because people, they don't know. They see the good stuff, or you can do special things, or you could, astral project, or you could get money and fame. Sorry. But it's all a lie. You might be able to do those things for a little bit, but in the end, Satan is trying to take you. Satan is trying to kill you. And if you sell yourself to him, he's going to take you as quickly as he can. People think that, God is trying to keep them away from certain things, oh, God's not nice to me, or, I could have more powers if I join the other side. But Satan will only do those things because he knows that he can use those things to end your life. And when you're on Satan's team, you're cut off from God. And you're never going to be able to fix that once you're gone. Once you decide that you're going to be with Satan, and Satan, ends your life, there is no going back. You can't say, I want to change things and God, like, I was mistaken. It's too late then. Don't buy into the lie that, God is keeping something from you and you can be just like God. You can do all these things. You can have the money, the fame, the women, whatever, if you just listen to the devil. Like, don't do it. It doesn't work out. And I always think about my friend and how right now he's living with the consequences of his actions that he made here on earth. So, anyway, sorry for getting really emotional. Well, it really upsets me still. But anyway, I just want you to stay tuned for the second part of the series on Genesis 3 and this huge lie that Satan has pretty much told everybody and that people buy into. So I want you to subscribe below and I will see you on Friday. Bye.